Jordan Spieth's golfing journey around the world continues this week in Singapore. Tomorrow night in primetime right here on Golf Channel. The pressing question for Spieth, how rested will he be? The West Coast swing continues with a drive to San Diego. You'll hear from Ricky Fowler, fresh off his impressive victory in Abu Dhabi. Augusta National is near and dear to Bubba Watson's heart. A two-time Masters champion, Watson shares his thoughts on what a trip down Magnolia Lane can mean for dozens of others. It's full steam ahead on Golf Central.
Golf Central, brought to you by Titleist.
Greetings and welcome to Golf Central. Steve Burkowski with you for the next 30 minutes, getting you ready for a busy week in the game of golf as a couple of tours kick off their 2016 seasons. Jordan Spieth has become a world traveler in recent months as he'll be teeing it up for the third time this year on 3 different continents.
For me, when I look at these events, I look at end of the season, beginning of the season schedule in order to make these trips and kind of have a bit more time so I can just stay in a rhythm on the PGA Tour the rest of the year. Since arriving in the morning yesterday, I spent yesterday resting, just laying low, trying to catch up on sleep and strength and hydration from the long trips. Once Thursday starts, I don't mind heat and humidity. I'm used to it in the summers in Texas. It's a bit of a hit, I'm sure, this time of the year because we're not used to it, but that won't be a problem. Getting to the golf course, it looks like I looked over the yardage book already. It looks like a bit of a tricky golf course, so I'm going to need to get as much information as I can. Sometimes the downfall in playing a couple weeks in a row where you have to travel long distances is you don't quite get the preparation or knowledge of golf courses that you normally have. And we can still go with it.
Tripp Eisenhower now alongside. And we just heard from Jordan Spieth, Tripp, about fatigue, about the world traveling he's been doing, especially here early in 2016. What's the initial reaction to his self-assessment of where he's at?
Yeah, you do get a little tired on these things. The benefit he has is he's 22 years old, and it's not leaking over to the golf course. I mean, he's had 2 starts. He's got a win and a 5th place finish so far in those 2 starts, so the golf has been fantastic. In fact, in his last 32 starts worldwide, he's been inside the top 5 more than he's been outside the top 5. 19 of 32 times he's finished inside the top 5. So the golf is not being affected by it yet. But here's the thing that a Jordan Spieth, a Rory McIlroy, and a Jason Day have to face that a regular tour player doesn't face. All the different stuff that they have to do, all the press commitments and all the different things that they have to do around the golf tournament, those things can pull at you. So that's why scheduling is so important for Jordan Spieth going forward so that he's ready to play on Thursday and his game kicks into full gear. So far, that's not affecting him. I think at 22, it's not going to affect him obviously near as much at 32 or 42. But these are the things that these great players learn over the years, and scheduling is a big key of that. See Jack Nicklaus and Tiger Woods because they were the masters at it.
Well, he's young, he's talented. We will see how it continues this week in Singapore. And taking a look back to November of 2015, China, Australia, the Bahamas, Hawaii, the Middle East. His worst finish, tied for 7th, throwing a win at Maui. We will see how things play out in the coming days in Singapore for Jordan Spieth. Golf Channel contributor John Feinstein now joins me to chime in on this topic. And John, there are so many opportunities for Jordan Spieth these days. How will this global start to 2016 affect him as the year moves on?
Well, that's a good question, Steve, because he said he was tired after Abu Dhabi, and it's only January. And he's got a pretty busy playing schedule between now and the Masters. This is going to be a key thing for Jordan Spieth going forward because he can play overseas for a lot of guaranteed money right now. And there are going to be people pushing him to do that, to push his brand internationally, to collect those appearance fees. I think Jordan Spieth is smart enough to keep his eye on the prize. The prize is major championships and the Ryder Cup. And I think that's why he made the comment after Abu Dhabi. And you know what? Next fall, I don't think I'm going to travel so much. I think I'm going to rest a little bit more than I have the last couple of years. And I liked hearing that. I didn't like hearing that he's tired, but I liked hearing that he's not going to just say, no, it doesn't affect me. I can fly all over the world and play, and it won't be a problem for me when I get to the majors.
On the flip side, Jason Day, Rory McIlroy have played very little tournament golf the past couple of months. How much of an advantage might this be for them when those majors and the Olympics roll around?
It's a good question, and I think it's interesting that Rory McIlroy has actually added an event to his schedule because he wants to play in Los Angeles. He's felt as if he wasn't quite as sharp in the past as he wanted to be going into Augusta, particularly these last couple of years. So he's picking his spots. He's now 26 years old, and he's learned. You learn by doing, and I think he's learned as he's gone along, and so has Jason Day. International players tend to get more opportunities. A guy like Jason Day would want to go home in the fall and play in Australia. You certainly understand that. But, you know, Jason Day, particularly with a young family, wants some time at home before the grind really begins. And the grind for these guys at this level, let's face it, Burko, it really begins when they drive down Magnolia Lane.
Well, it certainly does. It'll be interesting to see how the year plays out for all involved. John, always a pleasure. Thanks for your thoughts.
Thanks, Burko.
You can see if Jordan Spieth can overcome that fatigue and continue a top 10 streak that dates back to September. He's scheduled to tee off at 6:50 p.m. Eastern on Wednesday, and our first round coverage of the Singapore Open begins in prime time at 7 p.m. Eastern with Golf Central. On the PGA Tour, Torrey Pines is in La Jolla, California, once again set to host this week's Farmers Insurance Open. 20 of the top 50 players in the world golf ranking are scheduled to tee it up. For more on some of those highly touted players, Todd Lewis is live alongside the famous finishing hole on the South Course. Todd?
Hi there, Steve. Just a beautiful day just outside of San Diego, California, and it has been a beautiful past couple of days for Rickie Fowler after picking up an impressive European Tour win in Abu Dhabi over a very strong field. Now, with that victory, he moved to number 4 in the official world golf ranking, the highest Fowler has ever reached. The big goal for Fowler right now is to get a lot of rest. He traveled from Abu Dhabi on Monday to Southern California. There's a 12-hour time difference between the two. But when he landed on Monday, Fowler lived up to a commitment. He immediately went to the first tee of San Diego, where he held a youth clinic. Of course, Fowler very popular with young golf fans, and Fowler's an ambassador for Farmers Insurance Open, or Farmers Insurance, I should say, so he's going to be very busy off the golf course this week. Today, he slept in, arrived here at Torrey Pines around noon, and then had a practice session with his swing coach, Butch Harmon. He won on Sunday, but still thinks he can get better. I caught up with Rickie today, and he told me by winning early in the year in January, it's setting him up for a banner 2016.
I think it puts me in a little bit more of a mindset of being able to go out and be aggressive and go see what we can do versus the other years I haven't started off as well, you know, just trying to make the weekends, get in contention and go from there. But to go and play as well as I did at Kapalua and to go capitalize on that and get the win at Abu Dhabi last week puts me in I get to play a little bit of offense now, and I think it's going to be a fun year.
By beating Rory, by beating Jordan at that world-class field in Abu Dhabi, did that elevate any of your goals or ambitions for 2016, or did it keep them at status quo?
No, I think it just helped me with the confidence and believing that I can go take care of the goals this year. You know, Abu Dhabi definitely had a great field. HSBC did a great job having guys like Rory and Jordan and Henrik, and the list went down from there. I mean, we had 4 of the top 6, and definitely plenty of guys to back up those guys. So you can see by the amount of guys that were at the top of the leaderboard. I had a great time playing against Thomas Peters, a guy that's been playing well as of late, and he's not going anywhere. He's going to win plenty of golf tournaments. So winning against that field definitely gave me more confidence, but it doesn't change my outlook on what I want to do this year.
Of course, Fowler's goal in 2016 is to win a major championship, but we are a few months away from Augusta and the Masters. Right now, Fowler is focusing on Torrey Pines, and just like he did in Abu Dhabi, he will face an impressive field, including Brandt Snedeker, who's coming off back-to-back top 3 finishes in Hawaii, and Justin Rose, number 7 in the official world golf ranking, who's making his 2016 debut here in Southern California, and he's excited to be back out again on the world's greatest tour.
Definitely excitement. I think with maybe low expectation. I think, you know, off the back of 6-7 weeks off, you never quite know exactly how you're going to come out. I think the 6-7 weeks off always pay off in the long run. They're certainly going to pay off in the summer. I feel good that it's going to be a great year, and obviously this is 1 week of that year. So obviously I feel good, I feel comfortable, I feel ready. The key for me is to itch to play, and I'm certainly at that point where you know, my whole goal in the off season is to put the clubs down for long enough where I'm itching to pick them back up, and I got to that point probably 3 or 4 weeks ago, and then since then I've just been practicing, and then I got kind of itched to not to say leave home, but you know, obviously we all get so accustomed to spending time on the road that 6-7 weeks at home you start to get itchy feet. So here I am, and I'm excited about the week.
Hitting the ball where I'm looking, you know, I'm able to, you know, I got a new Bridgestone driver, a new golf ball put in play 2 weeks ago, and they've been fantastic. And hitting the ball a little longer, hitting it a little straighter, been able to miss the ball in the right spots and kind of play to my strengths, my short game, you know. And so when you're missing the right spots and kind of taking advantage of the hole you should, it takes a lot of pressure off your game, and you can go out there and have some fun and make some birdies.
Brandt credits his recent success to a swing change with his coach Butch Harmon. If you watch our coverage over the next few days, you will notice when Brandt addresses the ball that he'll put his hands out in front of the ball. Butch Harmon told me that helps with Brandt's takeaway and release. And Brandt really loves the swing change. He told me he's increased his distance by 6 yards. And Burko, Brandt Snedeker has won on this golf course before, so look out for him come Sunday afternoon. Let's go back to you.
Todd, certainly one of those to keep an eye on. 5 years ago, Bubba Watson won the Farmers Insurance Open. He tells us it's never too early to dream big, especially if those dreams include making it to Augusta National. Plus, the PGA of America's Merchandise Show Week kicked off on Tuesday with Demo Day. The best and the newest were on display. We give you a sneak peek just ahead.